So we either have the fully hinged type, body type, or the pear-shaped type. This is the body. You don't have to have this kind of body type in order to prescribe Natrum Muriaticum. Okay? The most essential is this: the miasm and the essence and the psychological profile, not the body type. Okay? If you have it, yes, it's a clue. It's something important. If you don't have it, don't care about it. And we have the non-verbal data. What are the non-verbal data of Natrum Muriaticum? The non-verbal data of Natrum Muriaticum are the following. First of all, you see the body type of Natrum Muriaticum if it exists. Then you see a person who is dressed dignified, conservatively. Not very conservatively, but she is clean, she is tidy, she wears classic outfits, not extreme things in any way. Not very sexual, not very revealing, not at all revealing or sexual, not provoking, anything but provoking, conservative. But she's most of the times in the era of her times, but not at the extremes. She will wear jeans, she doesn't have any problem with it. But she is going to have a moderation, a very strict moderation. If she is very religious, she has been raised very religiously, and she believes truly in religion, and she follows some conservative movement of that religion, then she may be dressed very conservatively and very dignified. So she has this appearance, and her behavior is she's very gentle, very kind, very dignified. Her talking is like that, her whole behavior is like that. She is shy, but not very shy, like, for example, Gelsemium, who is very shy and gets flushes when somebody talks to him and becomes red in the face, on the face. But she tends to be a little shy, a little conservative, dignified, and so on. What we also can see as a non-verbal characteristic is that she tends to have a dry skin, and we will talk about it later. That's the non-verbal characteristics of a Natrum Muriaticum constitution. Now, let's go to the mind rubrics from Ghent's repertory. What I did in this materia medica is that I wanted to show that this essence that I have told you about and this psychological profile is not from my mind. I have seen it in clinical practice and identified it, and most of the times it is in accordance to the mind rubrics, to the mental rubrics that come from the provings. So, I have opened the repertory of Kent, went to the mind and wrote down all the mind rubrics of Natrum Muriaticum of grade 3 or 2, bold or italics. And I took all these rubrics and put it in relevant groups so as to have a meaning, so as to give me the picture. And this grouping of mental rubrics of Natrum Muriaticum, as you will see, are in accordance, agree with the essence that I have told you. Let me say a few things about it. You can see it in the book later on. So, when we group the rubrics, the mental rubrics of Natrum Muriaticum from the repertory of Kent and the rubrics that you can have from the Materia Medica of Kent, then you will see that Natrum Muriaticum is described as introvert, easily offended, nervous and emotional, and that she has troubles from unrequited affections and may become an acute from emotional excitement and from grief. She develops sadness, tearfulness, recalls unpleasant events, cannot reason due to emotions, aversion consolation, wears consolation. Kent also says that Natrum Muriaticum fits nervous girls. So, we have the following characteristics. We have rubrics that show that she is psoric, introvert, with a sensitive nervous system. We have another group of rubrics that shows that she is emotional, very sensitive, and she has ailments after emotions. We have, and then we have the rubrics that have to do with the disorder of mental functions and the advanced stages of insanity. But the main idea that comes out of this study of the mental rubrics of Natrum Muriaticum is what we have already said about her being psoric, sensitive, introvert, and nervous. Then, I will not go into details, then I will go, I disagree with Kent on the term hysterical. He says that Natrum Muriaticum fits also, apart from nervous girls, fits hysterical girls. But this is a wrong term of that era of Kent because male had the upper hand at that times, and they called all women hysterical. But if we want to be specific, Natrum Muriaticum individuals, women, are not spoiled hysterical girls or women, they are nervous women. If you are psoric, you cannot be hysterical. You are hysterical if you are syphilitic. So it's a wrong term. You can talk about hysterical constitutions when you talk about Lilium digrinum, when you talk about moschus, when you talk about simisifuga, or when you talk about asaphoetida. You can't talk about hysterical Natrum Muriaticum. Then our next step is to see the general physical characteristics of Natrum Muriaticum. I have done the same thing. I opened Kent's repertory, went to generalities, to the chapter generalities, and wrote down all the rubrics of generalities of grade 2 or 3. Then I have grouped them together in relevant groups, and what we have is the following groups. The main thing, the main pathogenetic path that explains the physical general characteristics of Natrum Muriaticum is the imbalance of the salt metabolism, sodium and the salt metabolism imbalance. Sodium and kalium, sodium and potassium pump, the imbalance of this pathogenetic mechanism. So, as a result of this imbalance, we have dry skin and mucus, we have scaly eruptions, vesicular eruptions or edema, watery thick white discharges, anemia, tendency for hemorrhage, weakness, and emaciation from above downwards, like lycopodium. All these characteristics can be explained by the imbalance of the salt metabolism. Next, we have a group that concerns heat and cold. Although psoric, Natrum Muriaticum is usually hot. Not very hot, but is usually hot. All other things are psoric. And then we have a group of general symptoms that can be placed in the group nervous mind, nervous body. As I have told you, if you are easily vexated and hurt, and if you don't show it, and if you don't get it out of your chest, and if you express it, then this nervousness, this restlessness of the mind will go to the body and you will have a nervous body. You will have restlessness, frequent pulse, convulsions, constrictions, nervous headaches, neuralgias, and so on. I am referring only to the most important parts. You will read the rest in the book. And last, we have the use of Natrum Muriaticum in acute illnesses as an acute constitution. I took the repertory of Kent and studied all the chapters that refer to all organic systems, skin, respiratory, gastrointestinal, and so on, and found that there are some certain organic systems and some symptoms or diseases of certain organic systems that Natrum Muriaticum has a characteristic picture, and for that reason it is very useful when prescribed for these conditions if the whole picture agrees. So, from this research, and if you go to the special book Homeopathic Materia Medica of Acute Illnesses that I wrote based on Kent's repertory and Materia Medica, you will find that Natrum Muriaticum has a characteristic picture in vertigo, in headache, in vertigo and in headache, and in constipation and pain back. Why in vertigo or in headache? Because these two symptoms come from the hurt and vexated nervous system. We have the vertigo of Natrum Muriaticum is a nervous vertigo. The headache of Natrum Muriaticum is a nervous headache of an introverted hurt person, especially woman. And we have constipation due to the salt imbalance. We have a psoric constipation with dry mucus, inactivity, but soft stool, ineffectual urging and straining. And we also have a characteristic picture when we have pain at the back pain. Characteristically, she gets better by hard pressure, and especially when she's sitting, she wants to have a pillow, a hard pillow, not a soft one, to press on it and have her spine protected. I have tried to give you a full picture of the constitution Natrum Muriaticum and of the natural illness of the type of Natrum Muriaticum, but I have focused, as you have noticed, on the essence and the miasmatic aspect and the psychological profile of Natrum Muriaticum. If you will grasp the essence, then you will know the rest of it. Let me give you an example. You know your father, your mother, your children, your companion, your close friends. You have the image, the full image, the essence of them in your mind. So if somebody asks you, you can definitely say with much certainty how this person you know, this close person you know, will react in sex, in affairs, in the society, at job, in any kind of condition. Don't we often say, if John was here, then at this condition he would do this or that. And we say it with much certainty. So in the same way, if with the help of the classical miasmatic constitutional homeopathy, we know, we have in our hearts and in our minds the pictures and the essence of the psychological profile and the essence of a certain constitution, then we know with much certainty how an individual that is influenced by this constitution will react in all conditions. We will go on, and when we talk about other constitutions, we will try to refer and compare them, talk about their similarities and their differences, and this will create a much more clear picture in our mind of the boundaries and the characteristics of each constitution. Thank you for listening.